Romance of Sui and Tang Dynasties, Chapter 13.
We're talking today about, well, friendship, but not just any friendship. We're talking about the kind that makes you risk, everything. Your job, your reputation, maybe even your life.
Exactly. The kind where loyalty forces you to get really, really creative.
Today we're looking at Chapter 13 of Sui Tang Yani, The Romance of the Sui and Tang. And it kicks off with this poem about heroic spirit Yi saying, true heroes, they're just different.
Mm-hmm. Their connection runs deeper.
What happens when that deep connection, that Yi slams right into, well, mortal danger and crushing bureaucracy?
It's a classic conflict. Well, the text itself sets the stage pretty high. It brings up Qiong and Guanbao right away.
Ah, the legends.
Right. These are historical figures known for the absolute gold standard of friendship, rescuing the imperiled and supporting the endangered, as the text puts it. Mm-hmm. So that's the level of expectation here.
Okay, so that's the backdrop. What's the immediate situation?
The tension starts with the paperwork. You have Zhang Gongjin trying to bring his friend, Qin Shubao, to Youzhou for a new post under a new commander.
Sounds straightforward enough.
But it's not. Qin Shubao isn't just showing up for a job interview. He's arriving as a Junfan.
A military criminal.
Precisely. He's literally in chains, under guard. He's not a potential asset. He's a liability being transferred.
Okay, so the stakes are sky high from the get-go. Zhang Gongjin must know this.
Oh, absolutely. He gets close to Youzhou, about 30 line out, and sets up his group Shi Denai, Bai Xiandao, Qin Shubao, plus the attendants near the marshal's headquarters.
And his first move? Find some help.
Exactly. He needs allies inside the system. He focuses on two guys, the Youzhou brothers, Nan and Bei.
And who are they?
They're important figures. Flag officers, Qipag Wan, working directly for the big boss, Marshal Liu Yi. But crucially for Zhang Gongjin, their old family friends, Tongjia Qiong Yi, there's history there.
Ah, using connections. Smart.
But it's tricky. Zhang Gongjin knows these brothers are on the rise. The text says they have a gold belt future, meaning, big things ahead, rank, wealth.
So he can't afford to offend them.
Right. Which is why, before the meeting, he hides Qin Shubao. Still shackled, disgraced. He keeps him in a side room. He doesn't want to disrespect the Yuchis by presenting his friend in that state.
He's trying to balance loyalty to his friend with the political reality, respecting the hierarchy.
It's a delicate act. And then he plays his card. A formal letter of recommendation. A huan.
From who?
From Shan Urge. Shanji Gangshan of the Two Worthies village in Luzhu. Another major figure in this heroic network.
Okay, so that carries weight.
Huge weight. The Yuchi brothers are immediately impressed. They know Shan Qiangxin's reputation. They say, bring this friend out, let's meet him.
And this is the moment.
This is the moment. Zhang Gongjin calls for Qin Shubao, and he doesn't just walk in. He enters with a resounding crash. You hear the chains, Zhan Shu. This powerful guy, his tiger frame, is bound up, and his attendant, Jinjia, is trailing behind, carrying the heavy iron rope.
Wow. Imagine seeing that. The Yuchi brothers expecting some honored guest, and in walks this figure in chains.
Their reaction is instantaneous, fury, pure rage.
But not at Qin Shubao.
No, at Zhang Gongjin. They think he's deliberately insulted them, belittled them by showing this friend of Shan Qiangxin, this hero, in such a humiliating way right in front of them.
So their code of honor, their Yiki, completely overrides the official status, the fact that he's a criminal transfer.
Immediately. It's this amazing moment of defiance against the system. They don't think about reporting him. They think about honoring him. They personally step forward and release him, taking off the chains themselves.
They're basically saying, this is how we treat friends, regardless of the paperwork.
Exactly. They're putting their own necks on the line for someone they've literally just met, all based on the recommendation and the principle of the thing. Yeah, it's a huge gamble.
So Qin Shubao is free, at least from the chains. He must be incredibly relieved, grateful.
Immensely grateful. But, the relief doesn't last long.
Right, because the actual transfer document is still out there. The official problem hasn't gone away.
Precisely. They've dealt with the immediate disrespect, but the bureaucratic danger is still ticking. They need to know what's in that sealed order, the Jiwen, carried by the attendant Tong Wan.
And opening a sealed official document, that's serious business too, right?
Very serious. It's tampering with official correspondence. But they see it as the only way forward. They have to know what they're up against.
And how do they do it? Do they just rip it open?
No, much smarter than that. This is where you see some real ingenuity. They use Hunjing fire alcohol.
Like a solvent.
Sort of. They use it to carefully moisten the wax seal, the mifang, just enough so they can gently peel the paper open without tearing it. They read the document, and then the plan is to reseal it so no one knows.
Clever. Like something out of a spy novel.
It really is. But before they get to the bad news inside, Qin Shubao feels he needs to speak up.
About Shen Jiangxin, the guy who recommended him.
Yes, he feels the need to defend him, to explain the depth of his debt. He tells the Youzhou brothers, look, Shen Jiangxin isn't just some acquaintance. He saved my life.
How so?
Twice, actually. First, he nursed Qin Shubao through a deadly illness when he was stranded and penniless. Then later, after Qin Shubao killed a man named Zhang Qi in the Soapberry Forest.
Okay, so he did commit a serious crime.
He did. He was sentenced to death. But Shen Jiangxin stepped in, spent a fortune. The text says 1,000 pieces of gold Qianjin to get the sentence reduced from execution to this military transfer.
Wow. Okay, so Shen Jiangxin really did go above and beyond. Sounds like incredible loyalty.
On the surface, absolutely. An amazing act of friendship and generosity.
But I sense a but coming.
There's a huge but. Yu Qinan reads the transfer document, sees the destination Youzhou under Marshal Luo Yi, and he delivers this absolutely cutting verdict on Shan Qianxin's plan.
What does he say?
He says Shan Qianxin, despite everything, was unfaithful to the man he planned for. Wherein mo buzink.
Wait, unfaithful? How can saving someone's life, spending a fortune, be unfaithful? That seems harsh.
It sounds harsh, but it's about strategy. Yu Qinan is saying that loyalty without foresight, without understanding the consequences of your actions in this dangerous world, isn't true loyalty. It's actually harmful.
Okay, explain that. What was so bad about Youzhou and this Marshal Luo Yi?
Luo Yi, he's the core of the problem. He's not your average commander. He's a former big shot from Northern Qi, a dynasty that fell before the Sui. And get this, he refused to submit to the Sui emperor.
So he's a rebel.
Pretty much. He rules Youzhou like his own personal kingdom. He's got 100,000 troops, and he does whatever he wants. The text describes him as Joidong Ranxing, completely arbitrary, acts purely on impulse. And he's known for being incredibly severe.
Okay, that sounds bad. But what does it mean for Qin Shubao specifically?
It means imminent death. Lu Yi has this. Standard procedure for dealing with military criminals transferred to his command. Anyone considered potentially troublesome, seeing Dozhuan Wanli.
And that procedure is?
The Shaowei Bang, the killing stick.
The killing stick. That sounds ominous.
It is. It means that the moment a transferred criminal like Qin Shubao meets the marshal, he receives 100 blows from this heavy stick.
100 blows? That sounds survivable?
Maybe. Not according to the text. It gives brutal odds. 10 people sent in, 9 die, 1 lives.
9 out of 10 die.
9 out of 10. It's not really discipline. It's basically an execution method disguised as military procedure.
My God. So Shan Qianxin, trying to save his friend from execution, inadvertently sent him somewhere with a 90% chance of being beaten to death on arrival.
Exactly. That's why Yu Qinan calls the plan unfaithful. Generous, yes. Loyal in spirit, maybe. But strategically disastrous. He saved him from the sword only to deliver him to the stick.
Okay. Wow. So the situation is even more desperate than it first seemed. The Youzhou brothers have already stuck their necks out by freeing him.
And now they realize they have to do much, much more. They've gone from a simple act of honoring a friend to needing a full-blown conspiracy to save his life from the system itself.
How do you even begin to do that? The procedure seems set in stone. Meet the marshal, face the stick.
Well, Yu Qinan, the strategist of the two, immediately sees 2 potential weaknesses they can exploit. 2 variables, timing and appearance.
Timing and appearance, how does that help?
They can't change the rule about the killing stick, but maybe they can change when Yin Shubao is presented to Lu Yi and what state he appears to be in.
Okay, let's break that down. The timing. What's special about the timing?
This is where it gets almost unbelievable. Yu Qinan checks the calendar. Today, the day all this is happening, is the 15th day of the 3rd month. San Yoshi Diburi.
And that date matters because?
Because it's a special religious day. Specifically, it's a fasting day, Qizhe Nian Fo, for Marshal Lu Yi's wife, Madame Jing.
The marshal's wife is religious.
Very devout.
Yeah.
And because of her piety, she has this standing arrangement, or maybe just strong influence, over her husband. On this specific day, the 15th of the month, the marshal is absolutely forbidden from striking, injuring, or killing anyone.
You're kidding. His wife's fasting schedule can stop this brutal marshal.
Apparently so. It's this incredible detail. The life of this huge warrior, Qin Shubao, suddenly depends entirely on the religious observance of one woman he's never met. It just shows where power can unexpectedly lie in this world.
That's amazing. So they have a window, a day where the killing stick can't be used.
Exactly, but it's a very narrow window. It's today. They have to get Qin Shi Bao processed and presented to the marshal immediately before the day ends or before Luo Yi changes his mind.
So how do they make sure he gets seen right away? Bureaucracy can be slow.
This requires some serious string pulling. And it's another big risk for the Yuqi brothers. Especially Yu Qinan. He has to rush over to the registration office.
The Guaha Guan.
Right, the guy who logs all the incoming official papers. Yu Qinan basically has to lean on this guy, use his influence, maybe make some threats, who knows, to push Qin Shi Bao's transfer document from Luzhu to the very top of the pile.
Skipping the queue.
More than that, he instructs the officer to put aside all other documents for the day and process only Qin Shi Bao's. This ensures he's presented immediately and, importantly, alone.
Okay, so that handles the timing. What about the appearance part? Why does he need to look different?
Because even on a non-killing day, Luo Yi is still arbitrary and severe. If a healthy, strong-looking military criminal shows up, Luo Yi might still find some other way to punish him or lock him up severely or just make his life miserable. He's known for making examples.
Especially someone like Qin Shi Bao who killed someone.
Exactly. So Qin Shi Bao can't look ready for duty. He needs to look like someone you wouldn't want to beat, even if you could. He needs to look unfit. Seriously ill.
So they're going to fake an illness.
A very specific and convincing one. The instructions Yu Qinan gives are quite detailed. First, take off the head wrap, mess up the hair, tufa pengsong, make it look wild, unkempt.
Okay.
And then, the masterstroke. They have this substance called Wuming Yi, literally unnamed strange substances, some kind of chemical or paste. They need to apply this to Qin Shi Bao's face to simulate the sores and appearance of a severe, possibly contagious disease, like smallpox, perhaps.
Wow. So the plan is to make him look so diseased that Luo Yi will be repulsed.
That's the gamble. They're betting on two things. Luo Yi honoring his wife's religious restriction for the day, and him being personally unwilling to get close to or even thoroughly inspect someone who looks dangerously infectious.
He'll want to keep his distance.
Precisely. They need Luo Yi to basically recoil and delegate the problem.
Delegate it to who?
To his trusted officers who brought the man in, the Yuqi brothers.
Ah, I see. So the expected outcome is Luo Yi sees this sick-looking criminal. It's a nonviolence day anyway. He's annoyed, maybe a bit disgusted.
Right. And he says something like, ugh, what is this? You two Yuqi brothers, take him away, figure out what's wrong with him, report back.
And the Yuqi brothers will then, of course, confirm he's terribly ill.
But perhaps recoverable. Crucially, this gets Qin Shi Bao officially processed. He's registered, entered into the ranks, Xingguosheng, but excused from the immediate punishment, the killing stick is bypassed entirely.
He's in the system, but safe for now.
Exactly. Once he's officially on the books and assigned somewhere, even if notionally under medical care, the immediate threat is gone. He's survived arrival.
And from there, he has a chance to recover.
That's the hope. It all hinges on this elaborate, risky performance. And he's brought before the marshal, Luo Gong, who sounds pretty formidable. The stakes couldn't be higher. Life or death, really. Okay, let's unpack this. Starting with just how intimidating this whole courtroom setup is. The formality is intense.
Oh, absolutely. The procedure itself, it's almost designed to break someone before they even speak. The moment they get to the residence, it kicks off this terrifying display. You get 3 horn calls blasting. Then, boom, 3 cannon shots to announce the court is open. It's less about justice and more about showing overwhelming power, you know?
Right. It's pure theater of intimidation. And then there's the procession into the hall itself, this long line of officials, officers, flag bearers, even executioners with axes.
Yeah, all marching in pairs, lining the path. They just stand there, silent, menacing, waiting for the judgment, which everyone assumes will be fast and probably brutal.
And Qin Shi Bao is dragged through all this.
Exactly. Led by officers, shackled in heavy iron rope and fetters, he goes through the inner gate, the Yamen, and then he has to walk through what the text calls a forest of spears and swords.
Wow. Literally walking through rows of armed guards.
Yeah, they walked him right through a weapon gauntlet. It's psychological warfare.
Definitely more torture session than trial prep. And you have to remember who Qin Shi Bao is. This isn't some minor figure. He's described as being huge, over a zhang tall, like a towering hero. But under all this pressure, the text says he felt himself shrink. That short walk to where he had to kneel, maybe 50 feet, just half an arrow's distance.
Yeah, but the mental toll made it feel like climbing dozens of miles of steep cliffs. He was apparently breathless with sheer dread. It really captures a hero's agony.
And who's presiding over this whole nightmare? Luo Gong. He sounds terrifying, seated completely still like Mount Tai.
Mm-hmm. White hair, wearing the imposing robes of a top-rank official. The scene is perfectly set for a swift, harsh sentence.
But then, the paperwork arrives.
Right. Just when you expect the gavel to fall, the administrative details interrupt the drama.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. The marshal's ready to pass judgment, but he pauses. And he focuses really intensely on this specific document, the Jiwen, the arrest warrant from Youzhou. Why? Why this document? Why this sudden hesitation?
Well, because the governor who sent it, Cai Jiande, isn't just some random official. He's Luo Gong's favored protege, his student. If that document had come from anywhere else, Luo Gong probably would just glanced at the charges and bang, pass sentence. But Cai Jiande, that connection changes everything.
But isn't that a huge risk? He's putting protocol, maybe even military stability, on hold just to check his students' homework, basically.
It seems like, it shows a different set of priorities, maybe. You have to remember the backstory there. Luo Gong, even though he's the strict military man, had previously shown Cai Jiande mercy outside the law. Cai Jiande was just a young scholar back then, a jinshi, and he'd messed up badly. He was late delivering vital military supplies to Youzhou, which carried severe penalties. Luo Gong stepped in and essentially saved his career, maybe his life.
Okay. So this isn't just Luo Gong reading the charges against Qin Shubao. He's actually vetting Cai Jiande, checking if the man he saved is now acting justly, competently.
Exactly. He wants to make sure his protege isn't condemning someone unfairly. It's like he's validating his own past decision to show mercy. He needs to be sure the crime is real, the process sound. But as he's reading through, he gets to that crucial part, the identifying details.
And this is it, the moment everything changes. Luo Gong reads the line identifying the accused. Military offender, Qin from Liqing. That is a specific place name.
And the text says that detail is immediately eye-catching and startling to him. It hits him hard. He doesn't just absorb it, he physically reacts. He pauses, stops for a moment. Then he covers the document with his hand, orders everything to stop.
Which must have been shocking in that context. So a huge break from how things are normally done. Military courts like this were supposed to be swift, decisive. Verdicts usually came right after identification.
Right, but Luo Gong just commands the clerk to file the document away and tells him to take the prisoner back. He explicitly says Qin Shubao has to wait for a formal trial later in the afternoon session.
So the intense pressure inside the court just deflates into confusion, bureaucratic limbo.
Pretty much. And that confusion immediately ripples outside. Qin Shubao's friends and allies, Zhang Gongjin, Shi Danai, others, they're waiting anxiously by the western gate.
They must have been expecting the worst.
Absolutely. So when they hear the trial's just postponed until the afternoon, they're totally baffled. They know this isn't normal. Something weird is going on, but is it good weird or bad weird? They have no idea.
Right. What do they do?
Well, they adapt quickly. They tell Qin Shubao, look, use this break, gather your strength, try to relax. They even suggest he drink wine to calm the nerves.
Practical advice, I suppose.
And they tell him, just listen for the cannon fire later. That'll signal the afternoon session starting. Until then, you're okay.
But the real action is happening elsewhere, isn't it? Behind the scenes. Luo Gong hasn't just paused the trial. He's basically clocked out as marshal for a bit.
Yeah, he immediately goes back to his private rooms, the rear hall, takes off the heavy official robes, the hat, changes into casual clothes, a soft cap, a light jacket. It's a very deliberate shift, from public official to private individual.
And the first thing he does,
calls for that same document again. The GA, he unfolds it, looks at the name, the hometown again, confirming it. The private investigation is now underway. And it's not about the military crime anymore. He summons his wife, Madame Qin, and their young son, Luo Cheng, is there too.
Okay, so he brings his family into it. What does he ask his wife?
He starts carefully. He brings up the past, asks Madame Qin about her brother, General Xinyi. He died in Qiong years ago, over 20 years back, during some conflict. And Luo Gong asks specifically, did the general leave any family? A son, perhaps.
How does Madame Qin react?
Yeah, she starts crying right away. It obviously brings back painful memories. She confirms the story. Yes, her brother Xinyi died. He left a wife and a little boy, just 3 years old, named Pinglang. But, she adds, that was ages ago. Dynasties changed. Communication broke down. They haven't heard anything for 20 years. She assumes they were lost to the chaos.
So she doesn't immediately connect it to the prisoner?
Not at first. She's skeptical. She knows her family is from Shandong. But she mentions something about the prisoner being deployed from Hedong. She thinks it must be a coincidence. She even says they are 1,000 li's apart. Basically, it's too far, geographically impossible.
But Luo Gong knows better because of the document.
Exactly. He clarifies the crucial detail from the Jiwen. He tells her, no, this prisoner is a Qin, and he's specifically from Licheng.
Which is in Shenandoah.
Right. And crucially, he was deployed from Qiong to Youzhou. The locations all line up perfectly with her lost family's likely path.
Wow. That must have hit her like a ton of bricks. The recognition must be instant then.
It seems like it. The possibility overrides everything else. The man isn't just a military offender anymore. He might be family. Madame Qin immediately jumps to the conclusion. This prisoner must be Pingling, her long-lost nephew. And she insists, absolutely insists on meeting him right away. She says she needs to question his background, find out the truth.
Does Luo Gong agree?
He does. But then you see that flash of the formal official again, even in private. He reminds her this man is still technically an accused military offender, a Peijun, and she is a marshal's wife. So for official propriety, for the sake of Guanti, she has to interview him from behind a screen. She can't meet him face-to-face directly.
Incredible. So propriety still matters, even when searching for lost family. What a twist, though. A hero's life hanging by a thread in a terrifying trial. And the whole thing gets put on pause because of a name and a hometown on a form. It forces this powerful marshal to completely switch gears, from state duty to urgent family history. Qiong's friends, Zhang Gongjin and the others, they're waiting outside the general's compound.
Yeah, nervously drinking, probably expecting the absolute worst. Military justice back then wasn't known for its leniency. They see him dragged inside.
Okay, so let's break down that initial moment, because the setting itself starts telling the story, doesn't it?
It totally does. Normally, for a big military trial, you'd be in the main hall, the dating. You'd have the whole intimidating setup, the axes, the banners, stern-faced guards, the whole awe factor.
Right. But Luo Gong, he immediately messes with that expectation.
He does. The source says the escorts are told, don't use the main gate, use the small door, the Shao Kaimen.
A side entrance.
Exactly. And they don't go to the main hall. They're directed towards the rear hall, the Hutang.
Which is usually more for what private family matters.
Precisely. It's like shifting from a public courtroom to a private study. It fundamentally changes the tone. And get this, Luo Gong is sitting there in plain clothes, sui.
No armor, no general's regalia.
None of it. He's deliberately dialing down the intimidation, making it feel almost domestic. It's all stagecraft.
So Qiong must notice this difference immediately.
Oh, absolutely. Instead of fierce soldiers, he sees these 6 quiet guys in blue robes and then 8 more guards, but they look relaxed, wearing turbans. It's controlled, yes, but not the terrifying display he probably braced for.
Okay, that he's still a prisoner.
Right, the formalities, or some of them, are still there. He's brought in with restraints, these Taisheng, and he kneels.
And then there's that bit where he pretends.
Yeah, it's a great detail. Luo Gong tells him to come forward, and Qiong kind of makes a show of being too sick or scared to crawl properly, like he's afraid of being beaten.
Interesting. So he's pushing back a little, not just submitting completely.
Mm-hmm. And Luo Gong's reaction is key. No anger. He just orders the guards to loosen the restraints, shulei.
He's accommodating him. Already.
Already, it's like this little signal, this act of mercy, even before they discuss the crime. It definitely hints at where this is going.
So the interrogation starts. Does Luo Gong grill him about the death in Youzhou?
Not really. Not yet. He starts with the basics. Procedural stuff. He needs it for the record, probably for political cover later on.
Like what?
Are you from Qiong? Licheng County, Shandong. Qiong confirms, then his rank. Are you a military official, a Wubian?
And Qiong says no, right. He's just a common soldier.
Yeah, Junding. He explains he got this temporary promotion to Dutu, basically head of bandit capture, from the local official Lu Cixi because he was good at catching bandits.
Okay.
And he confirms, yes, he was on official business in Youzhou when he mistakenly injured a person. So far, it's sounding like a standard incident report.
But then, the shift.
Then comes the real question, the one that shows Luo Gong's actual agenda. He drops the whole manslaughter angle for a moment.
And asks about...
Family.
Yeah.
Lineage. But he's clever about it. He doesn't say, is your dad so-and-so?
No. What does he ask?
He asks if Qiong knows the family of the late General Qin Yi, the Wu Weijiangjun.
Qin Yi, wasn't he from the previous dynasty, the Northern Qi?
Exactly. A respected general from a fallen dynasty whose family was supposedly scattered somewhere in Shandong.
Why ask it that way? Why not just ask directly?
It's delicate. It's a test. Luogong likely already suspects, maybe even knows, but he needs confirmation. Asking if Qiong knows the family allows Qiong to react if he breaks down at the name.
Then Luogong has his answer without revealing he was looking for a specific relative all along.
Precisely. It maintains a certain decorum even in this private setting.
And does Qiong react?
Oh, does he ever? The moment he hears his father's name, Qingyi, he just collapses emotionally, starts weeping.
Yeah.
He confesses, yes, Qingyi was my father, and then he begs Luogong, spare my life for my father's sake.
And Luogong's reaction?
Instantaneous. He stands right up, confirms it. You are the son of the Wu-wei general, and right there, boom. The trial, as any kind of legal process, is effectively over.
Just like that.
Just like that. But there's still one more layer of confirmation needed. The personal touch.
Ah, the person behind the curtain.
Yes. The elderly madam, Luogong's wife. She's been listening behind this screen, this Zhu Lian, and apparently she's heard enough. She's not waiting anymore.
She comes out.
She steps right out. She's not messing around with military protocol or careful questions. She needs to know for sure. This is family business now.
What does she ask?
2 things. Very specific. Things only real family would likely know. First, what's your mother's surname?
Okay.
Qiong answers, Ming. Second, she asks for his childhood nickname, the really intimate one, Taiping Lang.
Taiping Lang.
Yeah, and Qiong confirms it. That's the trigger.
What happens?
Absolute emotional release. The madam rushes forward, crying. She just embraces him. Luogong is weeping too, calling out, he's our relative, Nikin.
Incredible. So the whole thing transforms in seconds. What about the charges? The escorts?
Gone. Vanished. The house guards immediately take off his restraints. The Luzhu escorts, the Wei Qi brothers who brought him all this way.
Yeah. What do they think? They must be stunned.
They're told straight up, this man is now the general's nephew, Nazi. He's the madam's blood relative. Dikun Gumu. Case closed.
And their reaction? Are they annoyed their prisoner just got off?
Not at all. The source says they applaud and laugh. They rush out to tell Zhang Gamjin and the others the news.
What do they say?
Basically, don't worry, Brother Qin has powerful backing. You Genji to Ren, they instantly understand the political reality.
And the paperwork. The legal side.
Oh, Luogong just says, we'll sort the paperwork tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
It's clearly just a formality now, backfilling the decision that's already been made by family ties.
So the focus shifts entirely. No longer a prisoner.
Not at all. He's family. He's taken inside, given a bath, fresh clothes. Luogong even gives him some of his own garments to wear.
Wow.
Then he formally greets his aunt and uncle Gumu, Gufu, and his cousin, the general's son, the Gongzi.
And then they start talking. Skills. Like a job interview almost.
Sort of, yeah. Luogong needs to figure out what to do with this newfound nephew. He asks about Qin Qiong's fighting skills.
And Qiong mentions his weapon, right?
He does. He uses the double maces, the shuangjian. And they're not just any maces, they were his father's. Silver, mounted with gold.
But weren't they confiscated? Back in Youzhou.
Yes, Xing mentions that. They were taken by the local official Kai Chishi as basically evidence in the crime.
So how does Luogong react to that? Does he have to send a formal request?
He doesn't even pause. He knows they were confiscated. Kai Chishi is his mensheng.
Is what?
His student, his protege, someone under his patronage, his influence.
So the guy handling the case at the local level actually reports up to Luogong personally.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
It shows the real network of power. Luogong just assures Qiong, don't worry, I'll get them back for you. It's a done deal. The whole system is interwoven with these personal loyalties.
Okay, but finding out he's family and getting his weapons back is one thing. Giving him a job, that's different, isn't it?
It is. And this is where Luogong faces a political problem. Nepotism.
Right. He commands a massive army.
100,000 troops. Thousands of officers who've probably fought hard for their positions. He can't just appoint his newly discovered nephew to some high rank out of the blue. People would talk. It would undermine morale.
What does he say?
He lays it out pretty clearly. He uses this phrase, fa bu hao shi yu kanai. Basically, law, or maybe rules, are hard to apply when it comes to relatives. You can't easily impose the usual standards on kin.
It's the classic dilemma. Family loyalty versus public duty, or at least the appearance of it.
Exactly. He put family first in private, behind closed doors. But now, in public, he needs to make it look like Qiong earned his place. He needs political cover.
So what's the solution?
A grand public spectacle. A massive military drill scheduled for the very next morning.
A drill? For what?
At the training ground, the Zhao Junqiang, in front of everyone, all 100,000 troops. Apparently, Qiong has to demonstrate his skills. Horsemanship, archery, gongma shushin.
So if he performs well in front of everybody,
Then Luo Gong can appoint him, saying, look, he's clearly skilled, he deserves it. No one can complain about nepotism then, or at least not openly.
it's a performance designed to justify a decision already made. Clever.
Very. It manufactures meritocracy. And Qing Kong, naturally, is overjoyed. He calls it a rebirth. He gets a second chance, basically handed to him, but framed as a test he has to pass.
But this careful plan, things don't always go smoothly when family's involved, right?
Oh, definitely not. The next morning arrives, and we see just how messy family can make things, even for a powerful general.
So Luogong heads out to the training ground with his officers.
Yep, leading his massive contingent. Qing Chong follows along on horseback. He's dressed like a household guard for now, a jiajang, not yet an official officer.
Okay, but back at the compound.
Back at the compound, we meet Luogong's son again, the cousin. He's about 11 years old.
And he wants to go see the show, right?
Yeah.
See his new cousin perform.
Desperately. And the text makes a point of describing him. He's apparently incredibly strong for his age, Luli Guoren. A great rider, good archer, he's got talent.
What?
But his father, Luo Gong, is incredibly strict. Remember, Luo Gong cares deeply about his public image. He's known for being upright, incorruptible Lianji.
So he doesn't let the son go.
He has explicitly forbidden his son from leaving the compound unsupervised.
Why? What's...
It's quite specific. Luo Gong is worried about the boy's dandyish nature, his gali yangzichi. He fears the kid will ride around showing off and end up trampling the local farmers' fields and crops.
Wow, he's that worried about public perception, even down to possibly trampled crops.
Yes. He cannot risk any incident that makes him look like his family gets special privileges or causes trouble for the common folk. His reputation for fairness is paramount, even if it means confining his own son.
So the son tries to leave.
And the gate officer, doing his job, stops him, says, "Sorry, young master, general's orders."
What does the boy do?
He runs back inside, crying, straight to the one person who might be able to override the general.
His mother, the madam.
Exactly. And she's excited about her newfound nephew. She wants her son to see him shine. So, the general's strict, publicly minded rule, she's about to ignore it completely.
How does she get around it?
She uses her own authority within the household. She calls for these 4 old guys, chief stewards, the Zhangjia. They're described as having white beards, been with the family forever, since the Northern Qi days.
Ah, so they're loyal to her, to the family unit, maybe even more than to the general's specific orders.
That's the implication. They represent deep-seated family loyalty. She tells them, take my son to the training ground.
Does she just override the order?
She does, but with the crucial instruction, you must hide him from the general.
Hide him. So she's actively subverting her husband's command and his concern for public appearance.
Absolutely. It's the perfect example of private desire, a mother wanting her son to see his cousin completely undermining the general's carefully managed public discipline.
What does the son do? Is he still upset?
Oh, he's thrilled. He grabs his fancy little crossbow, Huashao de Xiaonu, and some special arrows.
A crossbow. Why?
The text notes he plans to go hunting afterwards. He sees this huge military display, this crucial political event for his cousin, as basically a fun day out, a prelude to his own entertainment.
That's exactly the kind of privileged attitude his father was worried about.
Precisely. So they sneak out. The 4 old stewards basically form a protective screen around the boy, shielding him so the general won't spot him as they slip out the east gate.